Hey, welcome back, Casibang's crew. This is the second video for Unit 8. Today we're going to talk about stressor and trauma-related disorders. Specifically, we're going to talk about OCD, compulsive disorder, and PTSD, which is post-traumatic stress disorder. This video is going to be a quick one. Okay, so remember back in the first video, wasn't that long ago, a night or two ago, when I said that this is a very serious discussion that we're going to have and that we are not going to be making jokes or joking around about it because you never know what the person sitting next to you is suffering with. So this is an image that I found a long time ago that really sort of speaks to this idea. A lot of people, social media, TV, movies, there's always jokes about OCD. Okay? Oh my God, you're so OCD just because you like to color coordinate your things. Right? And this image really brings home why it's not really something that we should be joking around about. So on here it says each line on this paper represents a painful, unwanted, intrusive thought caused by obsessive compulsive disorder within 24 hours. Are your jokes still funny? Okay. So here's where we realize that these are real people with real disorders that are struggling with this on a daily basis. So what is obsessive compulsive disorder? So a couple things that we need to talk about with obsessive compulsive disorder. So the presence of obsessions, and you must know and understand the difference between obsessions and compulsions. So please make sure that you're taking appropriate notes here. So the presence of obsessions, and obsessions are unwanted intrusive thoughts or images that are experienced repeatedly. I underlined thoughts as like a key word to help you remember what obsessions are. And compulsions. And compulsions are actions pursued with the sole purpose of alleviating distress caused by obsessions. So there you see I underline actions. So obsessions are the thoughts and compulsions are the actions that we do to try and help us get rid of those thoughts. Okay? So they don't always go together. But in order to be diagnosed with obsessive compulsive disorder, you do always have to experience those together. And again, to be diagnosed, obsessions last at least an hour a day. At least an hour a day. Oftentimes, it's far more than that. This chart just gives you an idea. This is children and adolescents that have been diagnosed with obsessive compulsive disorder. Just gives you an idea on the particular obsessions, the thoughts, remember, and then the compulsions, the actions that are most commonly diagnosed with OCD. So concern with dirt, germs, and toxins, okay, about 40% of the people with OCD. Believing that something terrible will happen, that you'll die or you'll get sick or you'll be stuck in a fire or an earthquake or a hurricane, something like that, 24%. And then symmetry, order, and exactness, okay, having to have things on their desk in parallel rows or perpendicular to, you know, the paper that's on the desk. That's about 17%. The compulsions or those actions or the repetitive behaviors, because we do see compulsions as being very repetitive. You don't just do them once, you do them many times in a row. Excessive hand washing, bathing, toothbrushing, or grooming, about 85%. Okay, that is the most common. Repeating rituals, like having to go in and out of the door or get up and down from the chair or to touch every doorknob on your way down the hallway. Those are all repeating rituals. Having to step on only the black squares when you're at the mall and there's, you know, white, black, and brown squares. Checking doors, locks, appliances, the car brake, your homework, okay, important things to you. Checking repeatedly to make sure that they're locked or to make sure that you have them or to make sure that it's turned off, something like that. So that just gives you an idea on some of the common obsessions and compulsions. Okay, these are things that we are going to do in class, so I'm going to skip through. Okay, so a PET scan, good review. Okay, PET scan of the brain with a, the brain of a person that has been diagnosed with obsessive compulsive disorder. So the red areas that you see here in the front of the brain and even here toward the back, these indicate very high metabolic activity. And these areas, okay, our frontal lobe, remember our frontal lobe, our judgment, problem solving, thinking, attention. Okay, so we're seeing a lot of high metabolic area in those parts of the brain of someone that has OCD. So this could indicate a biological cause. All right, so post-traumatic stress disorder. So post-trauma, experiencing stress from that past trauma. So to be diagnosed, 4 or more weeks of the following symptoms: haunting memories, nightmares, social withdrawal, jumpy anxiety, as in you jump when you hear a noise, if you hear thunder or a doorbell or something like that, and sleep problems, okay, not being able to sleep. Post-traumatic stress disorder is most commonly diagnosed in soldiers, particularly soldiers who have seen battle, Vietnam veterans, Iraq war veterans, okay, people who've been in Afghanistan, okay, so most often soldiers that have experienced battle or have been in very dangerous, very stressful, very traumatic places or situations. That does not mean that only soldiers are diagnosed with post-traumatic stress disorder. Anyone can be diagnosed as long as there was a particularly stressful event that happened in your past. This could be you lived through a hurricane. This could be you lived through a fire that burned your house down. 9/11. Okay, 9/11. After 9/11, we saw an increase in PTSD diagnosis. Maybe there was something personal. You were held up at gunpoint, or you were raped. Okay, any situation that you would consider very, very, very traumatic. Okay, you can have symptoms of post-traumatic stress disorder from any traumatic event. It just was really first diagnosed and first brought to attention with soldiers that were returning from war, even as early as World War I. It just wasn't named then. It was called shell shock, or can't remember, there was another name for it. It wasn't really until after the Vietnam War that it was actually called post-traumatic stress disorder, and it actually became part of the Diagnostic and Statistical Manual. All right, that is it for these. We will discuss it more in class tomorrow. Please, please, please bring your questions, and I will see you guys tomorrow. Bye.